Hey, Fedheads, you're tuning in to another episode of Cigar Chat, broadcast live around the world and heard on the Armed Forces Radio Network. This is CigarFederation.com, or you can tune in at YouTube.com. I don't know why you would. Get your comments in at CigarFederation.com. Or you can tune in at Facebook Live, which is the new hotness. Get your emoticons, get your comments, get your likes. Hopefully we see them. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Trippy Trent. Trippy.
What up?
What up, buddy? Nice hat.
Yeah.
Rocking
Got my weasel on a little bit at IPCPR.
Gotta get your weasel
I got
on.
a couple hats.
Nice. We are joined by our very special guest, the transitionary MFN CEO, Logan. Look at how clean that image is. So clean.
I know, man. It's amazing what a little bit of after you've been doing naughty things to it. It's amazing.
Copy that.
Jenny Bly.
Jay Bly.
Oh.
So we're back from the IPCPR. Who put show of hands? Who's got their higher brain functions back and is caught up on sleep?
A little bit. I'm getting there.
I'm good.
I did sleep in one day, so that helped.
I think I'm just getting recovered today. Like the first day back, I think Monday, like I was having a verbal stroke. Laura would ask me a question and I would respond and I would jumble up the words and she'd look at me like are you dumb or just stupid? And she's like, you realize what you just said? I'm like, yeah, I recognize that what I said made absolutely no sense because 10 hours of sleep over 5 days or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I went for the gusto though. I got home late Friday night, almost missed my connection, but made it home. Got home around midnight, had to get up at 6 a.m. with the baby while Allie ran. And then literally Allie came home and I actually slept from about 8 in the morning or 8:30 when Allie got home until about 3 in the afternoon. And I got massive amounts of ish. It was a very bad husband move, but it refreshed me quite quickly. And it was worth all the backlash to get caught up that quickly.
Yeah, it's tough to get. I mean, I don't have a daughter, obviously, that I know of, in the United States or Canada, maybe Nicaragua. But
go somewhere, man. When you're in the shower, bro, that drain goes to somewhere. Goes somewhere in country.
Thanks. No control of that. No, man, it's bad. It's hard to come back and go right back into the swing of things. Right back into.
I don't think so.
No, Trip looked frozen, but he's good.
Thanks. Anywho, yeah, man, it's hard to go back into the swing of things.
So, what'd you got? Let me ask a question. Trippy Trip.
Yo.
Trent, otherwise known as Trent. It was your first IPCPR. And I kind of got to see the look on your face the first day. Like if you were a kid going to Disney. You look like a kid in a candy store. Tell everyone that's not been to IPCPR, you've heard about it for 5 or 6 years now. What did you think about it? I mean, not the overall experience, but just walking in day one. Was it everything you thought it would be?
I mean, so
was it different? What do you think?
There was somebody, I don't remember who it was, but I've been like following the IPCPR since it was the RTDA.
Right.
And probably 2006 or 7 was the first time I was like aware of it and started, looking for coverage. And it was kind of what I expected, but at the same time, it was on a way bigger scale than I was expecting. Like when you see the pictures of the booths and stuff, it doesn't quite do them justice. That some of them are like 30 feet tall and 100 feet long. It's kind of crazy, and it gets real busy in there.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, sound levels on the floor.
They were mostly bearable, but it was pretty loud. I mean, a lot of times when I was interviewing somebody, I could hear them, but like John would say stuff from behind the camera, and I wouldn't even be able to hear him at all. The couple of exceptions where when we were in kind of the outskirts of the floor.
Yeah, so just so you know, when we do interviews, and I mean, I'm probably maybe 5 feet back at most from the interview, I'd say.
Yeah.
And so our audience knows I can't hear a goddamn thing. Like I can't hear a single word So it's like after the interview, somebody will turn and they'll ask me a question, and I'll be like, I have no idea what you're saying because I can't hear you, and you're standing 5 feet away. That's how loud it is on the floor.
It also depends where you are too. I mean, if you're in some parts, it's not that loud, but if you're like by the foundation booth, you're down by Drew Estate where they're like pumping a bunch of like crazy music. It's like, I don't know how you work in that booth because it's like you can't even think. It's so loud.
And a couple of mornings, like right before the show opened, and then right after the show closed, at the Tatuaje booth, they really cranked their music up, and you could hear it from like perfectly clear from the complete other side of the convention hall.
Oh yeah.
Lord.
So I was laughing. Somebody was saying on one of the shows a couple days ago, they were like, "Well, you guys probably didn't hear the audio at the other side of the floor," and I'm like, "No, we can hear the audio when the music is bumping. You can hear it from the food court. Like it's well, and actually, you get it at every corner. You get it in Roma Craft, you get it at Crown Heads, you get it at Drew Estate. I mean, Foundation, but like everybody, all 4 corners were pumping music.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh.
But it's not. I mean, that's pretty normal. I mean, I don't think it was louder. I don't think it was louder than it's ever been, but it definitely was. It's loud.
No. Trippy. So, like, what was your overall impression of the IPCPR since you're the new fish, the new fry?
Oh, I loved it. I'm like, I mean, it was like we've talked about kind of at length. It was completely mentally and physically exhausting. I don't think that I could do like a second week of that or anything.
No.
Or even if it ran through the weekend, I don't think I could do 2 more days of that. I would just be dead. But it's super fun. Like, there's just so much going on. You're meeting people all day, and kind of, I was kind of surprised that a lot of the people that I didn't know and haven't had any real interaction with in the industry kind of just welcomed me in, and it's like we were old friends, kind of.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I'd say the relationships are probably 60% of the reason I go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's good to see all those people you only see once or twice a year if you're lucky.
Or never.
Or never. Yes.
So, Logan, question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you were down pumping that Lane coffee. How was the Lane coffee received? Because every time we came by, it was like you were the methadone clinic, and people were lined up. Like, I'm not kidding, man. Like we had people passing, and they're like, "Hey, man, has Logan got any of that coffee available? I need some of that coffee.
I want some of that coffee, dog."
All over the floor.
It was annoying. No, I'll rephrase. I appreciate everyone who bought coffee. No, I mean, it was good, man. I mean, I obviously at the show had a lot of transitionary duties to do, right? So I tried to limit my time at the booth as much as possible, and was still able to go around and, get cigars for the CigFed store. So everyone will be happy that they'll see, like, the new Wise Man, the new Todos Las Dias, and all the good stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, we got on the floor. I got on the floor about an hour early, and literally was filling up those, like, this is probably a really ageist analogy, but with those the old people home coffee pot things, like, and Trip would literally be my water guy and was going down to this random water fountain hydrant thing and getting me 5 gallons of water so I could make coffee. And I couldn't get caught up for the first hour because people were just going bananas. So, it went really well, man. For the first time I've done a contract roast, and sold wholesale. I think it went really well. I'm going to find out, the total sales tomorrow when I talk to Nick, but, I think it went well. I think there's things that, I think the best part is Nick was great to work with, and the entire foundation team was great to work with. So, a lot of the lessons that we learned, right? Like, things like most retailers don't really understand coffee. And no offense to those retailers out there, but a lot of them drink Folgers, right? They're not drinking craft coffee. So when they see that the bag is XYZ wholesale, they're like, "Whoa, that's way more than Folgers." And, so I think there's more we could spend on education and stuff like that, which is obviously a lesson learned. But overall, I'm very happy with the way it went. And for those that retailers that did not pick it up, you'll soon see all the 4 blends, the Foundation Wise Man, the Tabernacle, the Upsetters, and then the all-in blend available at Lane Coffee very soon.
Nice.
Giggity.
Would you guys, I'm just rolling. I got like a bunch, because, Den Mother. I got a whole bunch of questions queued up here. So maybe start with Trip. What do you think of the hotel? We're big balling. Big balling at the Cosmo.
So sweet. I think we might have had like one of the best hotels on the Strip, in my opinion. Except for like maybe the Wynn. it was just a nice hotel all around, and our room was pretty pimp. There was that issue of not having a bed until like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
and they delivered the bed while we were all asleep because we had given up on them bringing it.
Me and
That
John
being- that-
snuggled. It was
Yeah, we
nice.
snuggled a little bit. I got
I mean, I
smacked
wasn't
in the
going to
face
bring
a few
that up,
times.
but
Hey, man. Hey,
No.
we fell asleep snuggling, watching The Killing.
Killing. For
Which,
those
by the
who
way,
are,
Triff, I got through the first 2 seasons. Holy bejesus, did not see that coming.
oh yeah,
Spoilers!
The sister
Spoilers!
killed. Spoiler alert. The
Spoiler
sister killed the girl. Like, not
Mhm.
intentionally, but like, I was like, ah!
yeah, dude, that was messed up.
Oh, dude. I was like, oh my God. And she kept, like, the whole time she had to have known. Like, she knew. And she just was like, I don't know, dude. It was, I watched it and I was like, I got to take like a day break before I start the second part because I was like, this is just too messed up. Anyways.
was anyone else kind of a little sad that we didn't get to smoke on the patio of our Baller Suite more?
Not really, because it was very windy up there and it was really hot.
Yeah, but I would have liked to have quote unquote wake and baked on the patio. You know, like I would have liked to.
been cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, start a little lane coffee in the morning and have a cigar to start the day and kind of casually roll in. But instead, what it was like get out of bed, have my 5-minute shower,
Wake
try and
Logan up.
scramble to get bread. Well, you know what? I gotta say, man,
pretty
this is
good.
you were like springing out of bed. I don't know what was going on, where they were pumping oxygen directly into your room, but I have never seen you get out. Like I was getting out of
It
the
was.
shower, and you were like, "Let's go!" And I was like, "Who are you, and what have you done with Logan?"
I know, man. Probably because I didn't want to get yelled at by a certain somebody, and I got to get there to make coffee. Which, in hindsight,
Cracking that whip.
if I do another contract roast, instead of roasting on the floor, literally what I'll do is I'll just do it in the hotel room and pack up like 4 or 5 of those thermos things and like bring it in like a wheelie cart, and just that'll be much better.
I mean, you really needed a team of 2 guys brewing coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Full time. Like literally one guy fetching water and taking care of the consumables, and one guy full time brewing. Like, and they would have been busy all day long, every single day.
Oh, it's true. And I mean,
Notes for next year.
Notes for next year. And the other thing is like didn't get a better power supply until the 3rd day. So I hooked up the hot plate because I was trying to use the Chemex and the kettle, and I kept shorting out the booth. And I was forced to go set on the floor, and people thought I was begging. It was just a mess.
You were doing it Chennai style.
Dude,
Mhm.
it was basically Chennai style, but instead of that, I would have to start a fire versus using electricity. But anyways, yeah, no, it was good. It was good. It was a good experience.
What was your guys' start with you, Trippy? What was your I mean, you don't have any experience at the Sands, but what was your experience at the Las Vegas Convention Center?
It's a little out of the way because the only people who could get there on foot really were people who were staying at the Westgate.
Suckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Cuba 2-star.
But maybe
it was pretty nice inside.
Maybe.
I mean, it was big enough. It didn't seem like they were like, wanting for space or anything. So I think it was fine.
Logan, you've been to the Sands 100 times.
Yeah, I've been to the Sands 100 times.
The LVCC.
Dude, like, okay, so we've always stayed away. We've never stayed in the Venetian or the Palazzo. So the drive really wasn't any different. I don't think. I mean, it was about the same amount of time. That wasn't the problem. There's a couple things that I liked about it, and there's a couple things I didn't like. One thing that I liked is that the drop off was, I think the drop-offs were similar, right? But I liked the fact that you could be dropped off and you walk like 20 feet and you were in the convention. Where when you don't want that
20-minute walk.
Oh yeah, but the thing that was better about the Las Vegas Convention Center was the pickup. Yeah, we had to wait a minute for lift or whatever. But you remember, if you went downstairs in the Sands, there could potentially be cabs, but most of the time there wasn't. So you had to walk all the freaking opposite side to get a cab. And you couldn't get a lift, right? So that was one thing that was better. One thing I liked better about the Sands is the Sands actually had bathrooms like in the middle of the floor. You know what I mean?
That would be kind of nice.
Inside, the only one was that one along the back wall that was like maybe 100 feet down.
3 around the. on the back wall.
But they were
There
on
was
the
one over
very
by
outside.
the Caldwell booth.
But they were on
Right.
the very outside of the walls, which is a bit of
Right.
a hoof.
Yeah, there was a hoof. I mean, I like the Sands. I think it was better set up for a convention because they had the bathrooms in the middle, you know. But otherwise, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I would say that they were a little bit more Nazi-ish, if you could say that. About it's 5 o'clock, we're shutting down and like literally powering off the lights and killing the AC.
Yeah.
The Sands
There was-
wasn't.
there's-
The
yeah.
Sands wasn't that bad. You could hang around for another hour and nobody cared.
We were out.
But all in all, I'd have to say, like, I was worried about it being bad. But all in all, I actually think it was probably this similar, but different, if not better.
Same, but different.
But if not better.
We're going to take a quick break. Get your questions in on Facebook Live or CigarFederation.com. Please stay tuned for word from one of our sponsors. Brought to you by Gurkha Cigars. Gurkha Cigars, makers of the world's finest cigars. Try the 93 rated Heritage featuring a Rosado Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Dominican, Pennsylvanian, and Nicaraguan fillers. Blended by Gurkha's blending team at American Caribbean Cigars, it is hand-rolled Nicaraguan, available in 35-count boxes. Talk to your local B&M about the Heritage today, or talk to them about other fine Gurkha cigars. Whatever your taste preferences, Gurkha has a cigar that's right for you. All right, we're back. Hopefully my audio isn't cutting out for our audience, just the stupid Skype. No, man, I think I would say it was the same as Sands in terms of overall experience, or better. And I think better because the one thing I think a lot of people forget about is that we had to walk through the Venetian and the Sands to the convention center, and even the hallway leading into the convention center was like a 5-minute or 8-minute walk. So like every morning we were walking probably 15 to 18 minutes just to get into the convention center. And then after a day of walking, we had to walk another 15 or 18 minutes. And honestly, I was pretty walked out. So it was nice to walk 6 minutes or 5 minutes and boom, we're gone. And we were like, I would say, remembering from past years, I think it was closer to 6 by the time we got back to our hotel room.
It's typically, yeah.
Yeah, and this time, I mean, we were bang on back to the hotel room at like 5:25, which I found pretty surprising, and it made a huge difference in our overall availability in the evening. I think
That's true. I would agree. I would agree that was one thing that was much better.
All right, Trippy, thoughts on the Westgate Hotel as the quote-unquote official hotel, one of the official hotels of the IPCPR.
Yeah, but before I say that, I just want to say, Jason says the audio sounds fine. I think it was noise gating your microphone based on the ad that was playing.
Probably.
So all reports say that the Westgate was a complete shithole. The only person that said they had a pleasant experience was Mambacho, and they were only there for 2 days.
I think they're just being nice.
They're just nice
Being
people.
Canadian.
They're basically Canadian.
There you go.
I mean, how many people did you hear? I heard multiple people saying they had electrical issues in the room where the lights weren't working. I heard more than one person say the air conditioning wasn't working, and I heard multiple people say they had plumbing issues. So I was like, bro,
Like not like tame plumbing issues. Like one of them, he said that he left the room to go to the show and came back and flushed the toilet and it just started overflowing everywhere. Another one said that their water wouldn't turn on, and another one said their water turned on and after like 10 seconds it
Just the
sputtered
shining.
and then just black water came out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we officially found a hotel worse than the Stratosphere.
yeah. I mean, it didn't look worse than the Stratosphere in the inside, but certainly from our anecdotal responses from the floor, I'd say not. I think the attendance level at the Westgate next year is going to be very low.
Yeah,
Very, very
I think
low.
we're going to see a lot of people jumping on those deals at the Encore, because that was the secondary official hotel.
So what was that baller hotel that Robert was talking about? Robert Caldwell, was it the SLS?
The SLS, yeah.
I've heard that's nice.
Yeah, a
So
lot of people like that. So I think maybe we should
well,
hang out there a little bit next year.
I mean, what appealed to the fat boy in me is he was talking that they were giving away like $50 with every day. Each room was getting like a $50 meal and booze or beverage credit.
And he said the room was $109 a day, and
That's not bad.
and they take $50 off your food bill. So you're basically paying $60 a day.
Pretty good, man.
That's not bad.
So
And
I mean,
that's also where Bazaar Meats is.
it's all about them meats.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all about them meats, about them meats, about them meats.
So maybe I start with you, Trippy. What do you think about the booths? What was your overall impression of the booths? What was maybe your booth that you were most impressed with, and maybe booth that you were least impressed with?
The booths kind of ran the gamut, which is kind of interesting and cool, and not something that I normally see at trade shows. Like, you at most trade shows, there's kind of that shitty booth that just has the black backdrop with their little sign that's this big, and then they have just a plastic table. For the most part, the booths were pretty nice. I can't think of one off the top of my head that was like these people didn't even try. But I'm sure there were some, I just didn't see them. But then some of them, like the Drew Estate booth, the Tatuaje booth, the My Father booth, were like larger than life, which was really cool.
Logan?
Which booth? I mean, I won't say which booth is the worst because
Because it
and
was
not-
Nick's booth, and you don't want to shit on him.
no, it's not because I told people that were brand owners. You were there, you saw me. Asked me what they thought of their cigar, and I told them verbatim. Well, do you want me to tell you the truth? Or do you want me to lie to you? And they're like, well, tell me the truth. And I was like, well, your cigar's okay. It's not memorable. It's about $3 overpriced, and crushed their soul. And basically, I don't want to say the reason I'm not going to trash booths is because if you were there and have a booth, you're spending, even for a shit 8x8 booth, you're spending $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't say you have a shit booth, because if you were spending $100 and you had a shit booth, then whatever. But dude, it's not cheap, and that's one of the themes that I saw at the booth or this year, is there were so many brands that are still active brands but did not have a booth, that were just walking around, because literally, dude, it's an investment to go. Like, it's not cheap.
It's a big investment.
Huge investment. So, but I think, there was a couple booths. My Father and Tatuaje booth, they were the same as always. The Padron booth was always the same. So was Alternatives in general. They're all the same. I think the booth that I like the best, I wouldn't say the best, but one of the booths that I like a lot is I liked Saka's booth, just because it's very open, but it's still got like a cozy feel to it, and there's plenty of room to sit down. And the other booth that I really liked was Matt Booth's, just because it's fucking
his
Booth.
was great.
It's just awesome.
I love that he had video games.
He had fucking arcade games. It was
Hang out and
awesome.
Play arcade games.
It was
Pretty
awesome.
welcoming. Any questions, feedback, comments from the peanut gallery there, Trippy?
Jason Raybuck has a new nickname for Logie, which
What's
is
that?
Soul Crusher.
Dude, hey man, like, I'm not a soul crusher. I'm here to do one thing and one thing only in this life, and that's to be honest with you. And I ask you, I say, do you want me to tell you the truth? Do you want me to lie to you? And I did it, and I actually think that guy will be now a better cigar maker because he now knows the truth. Either he'll take my feedback and think about it, or he'll just say, fucking Logan doesn't know what he's talking about, and move on. But I'm just telling you, I'm not going to tell you who it was. But let me ask you, you two know exactly who it is. You guys smoked it. Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, dude.
The whole week is a blur.
The first night, the party, in the kitchen. I'll tell you later.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk
Yep.
offline. Oh,
Yep.
right. Yes, I remember. So Trippy, going to the event, best cigars you enjoyed. Not that we had the chance to really enjoy a ton of cigars. Best cigar you enjoyed at the show, and connected to that, the most anticipated cigar, that is the cigar you're most looking forward to sitting down and reviewing after the show.
So I think, the one that stands out from smoking there, like we talked about last night, we all sat down in the what's the shithole called? The Westgate.
The non-bar bar.
Yeah, we walked in there, and the Circle Bar, what people would call the Circle Bar there, was completely packed. There was like standing room only, and so we just walked past it and found a different one that happened to be closed. And we all lit up the Wise Man Maduro, and that cigar right off the bat, I knew that I was just going to love it. It's so good.
It's pretty awesome.
And I think the one I'm actually looking forward to the most is the My Father La Opulenza.
Opulencia.
Yes. I mean, just the thought of a My Father cigar with a San Andreas wrapper.
Have they done many with the San
exciting.
Andreas?
I don't think they've done anything
I don't think they've done
under
any
the
with
My
the San
Father
Andreas.
line. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they've done some of Pete's stuff, and I think that they had a Jaime Garcia that was San Andreas. But as far as I know, this is their first like full production cigar that is under the My Father brand. That's San Andreas.
Got it.
Logie?
I mean, I was walking around buying a lot of cigars, was busy. I mean, obviously you guys know all that. But I'm trying to think, man, like I mean, obviously the Nick's new cigar was really good. Nick's new cigar was really good. I found that quite enjoyable. I smoked the new Room 101 collaboration, like the one with the Room 101 flower on it between Caldwell and that. I found it quite enjoyable.
Really?
Wow.
As soon as I lit that up, like an inch into it, I was like, Logan would hate this cigar.
No, I liked it, dude.
Okay.
Wow.
Nah,
the
man.
Room 101, the hit and run, the one with the
flower. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Color me
But
surprised.
but I also smoked it. It was like the first cigar I smoked of the day too. So I lucked out that it was. But you're right. It's very mild, but it has a balls ton of flavor.
Yeah.
So I liked it quite a bit. I liked it quite a bit. So I smoked Saka's new thing. Like, I mean, honestly, I can't really say if it was if I'm gonna give it what I'd give it, because I didn't really get to enjoy it all that much because I was working. But other than that, honestly, I felt like it was a bunch of I mean, I've got a bunch that I still need to smoke. Like, I want to smoke the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder because I think that'll be up my alley.
I think you're gonna love that cigar.
I think I'll love it too. But I mean, there's so much that I haven't smoked. But honestly, I felt like I was expecting there to be so many releases. Like, I was expecting it to be you walk in a booth and everyone has like 27 releases. And honestly, it wasn't as many as I thought there was going to be.
I think the reason for that is that nobody wants to. I mean, obviously, everybody did like stealth releases before August 8th so that they would have stuff in the hopper. And I think most of the companies don't want to kind of blow their load and not have anything for 2018, 19, 20 because nobody knows which way the FDA is going to go.
Well, look at what happened with booths who had
Presumably
nothing new, right?
stay. Yeah.
I mean, what brings you to the show if there's nothing new?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and for retailers, it makes sense. I mean, if they want to, go into the foundation booth and get a bunch of original Elway Wednesdays for a deal, the only place to do that is IPCPR.
Yeah.
But from a media standpoint, it makes our jobs harder because there's not as much to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited. I smoked that Jacob's Ladder first thing in the morning. I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to sitting down.
Is it as strong as he says it is?
It is. What did I call it, Trip? I call it a Skip Medium Plus.
Yeah, Aroma Craft Medium Plus.
Yeah, okay. That's why when I smoked it, I'm like, this is going to be right up Logan's alley. I'm excited to sit down again with the Cosecha. Now that it's officially out,
I smoke that.
I don't think it's going to be up your alley.
No, dude,
I thought it was too nuanced for you, Logan. I just smoked it today.
It's not, man, too nuanced for me. Like, what the F is that? Like, honestly,
that's what I would have said too.
No, let me rephrase this. This is a cigar that had that same blend been released, say, after aging in the aging room for maybe a year, would probably been pretty darn good. But they're not loading this thing full of fucking, Ligeros and high priming secos, or excuse me, high priming visos or anything like that. So it's a fairly mild smoke.
I thought it was stronger than a lot of their cigars.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was like on par with like because I think in terms of strength, I think the 10th was the strongest thing they did. Then the Liga Maestro, and then the original Tierra Volcan. I thought this was like Tierra Volcan level.
Well, Tierra Volcan
I found it to be like a notch below the 10th.
What?
Yeah.
Man, maybe. I mean, it was like the third cigar I smoked of the day, but still,
maybe that has something.
Maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't know. And there was I mean, it's not that it's a bad cigar, but dude, at $25 a pop, bro. Dude, yeah, that's Padron
I can't see myself buying like a box or two of those.
Question though, And this is like total, what do they call it? I mean, not, basically when I was making up stuff about Michael Giannini, when I was like total rumor mill. But let me just ask you, because when we were there in their aging room, we saw the cigars like a year ago, right? And we knew this was coming. They were not banded. But when you open up the band, they have a date. It was like, I think it was like November something, 2013 or whatever, right? So are they stamping that date like a month ago when they packaged these up?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what they do. So they stamp them. Everything obviously is tagged, so they know when it was rolled, and then they stamp the rolled date when they package them.
All the boxes in the aging room are coded.
Right. But what I'm saying is my conspiracy theory is I don't like that, because why don't you let it age for like 3 months in the aging room, then put the bands on it so you have the legit date there? Because I mean, dude, accidents happen. Boxes get mixed up. Just saying.
I don't see that happening at Mambacho.
Yeah, that's not going to happen at Mambacho.
I'm just saying.
Let's take a quick break. You're tuning into the live to Cigar Chat broadcast live around the world and heard on the Armed Forces Radio Network. Stay tuned for word from one of our sponsors. This show is sponsored by Cigar Oasis. Don't spend all your time worrying about your cigar wrappers cracking, splitting, or falling apart from humidity fluctuation issues. Set it and forget it by choosing Cigar Oasis, a professional solution which provides equal distribution of humidity with precise electronic controls. Monitor your cigars through the internet using the Smart Humidor Wi-Fi attachment. Why don't you spend all your time enjoying your cigars and relaxing and let Cigar Oasis protect your cigars? Cigar Oasis has solutions for any humidor. Make sure you set it and forget it today. So I didn't really finish my list there, but and this one might catch people by surprise. But I'm kind of looking. One of the cigars I'm anticipating smoking out of the show is the Alec Bradley Esteli, the Black Market.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying
that.
Gross.
I love the Black Market.
I don't love the Black Market, but to me it doesn't taste Nicaraguan enough. I think that's why. And based on what I've heard, the new one's really good. So I'm looking forward to trying that one.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I did smoke one of the Lost Arts. That one was really good.
How was that?
I liked it
more than
I expected to. Yeah.
That was a big seller for them, man. That Prensado is like still performing well in the market. So
yeah, that #1 rating really
never hurts.
Helped that one out.
Yep.
Never hurts. I will say that, I thought it was interesting. Did you guys smoke John's new one, 4 Kicks Maduro?
Yeah, I liked it, but my palate was a little messed up that day from, just raging the night before on cigars. So I'm not quite sure how good of a read I got on it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I smoked it. It was later in the day. And I don't know, man. Maybe it might have been that my palate or something, but I was expecting a lot more out of that because I really did like the 4 Kicks, which was kind of surprising. And I expected, putting on it's because it's Ecuadorian Maduro, right?
Or it's a Connecticut Habano.
Connecticut Habano. Maduro. So I was expecting a lot more flavor out of it, and it just seemed kind of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but it's really tough to get a read on a cigar at the show. I mean, humidity issues for one, like those cigars are, practically drying out by the minute. And then you're on the showroom floor with no water, you're hangry, you're tired. So, I mean, it's really tough to get a read on a lot of cigars until you sit down with it after it's been, properly rehumidified and, normal.
What I learned during the week is at the show, you can kind of tell what cigars you really like when you smoke it there, but you can't always tell whether you're going to not like something.
Yeah.
I feel like I could smoke something there and not like it and then get home and try it and actually like it. But if I smoke it on the floor and I love it, I'm probably going to like it on a fresh palate too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I smoked a couple dog turds and I know they're going to be dog turds. You know what I mean? But I think it could go in the way is like, if you're unsure about it, then it might be good. But if it's really good, it's only going to get better. And if it's a dog turd, it's probably only going to get worse.
Yeah, that's probably true.
In my humble opinion.
So what about what do you guys think about the Downton, the Highclere Castle?
Oh, I'll say my opinions for last. What? I gave you one.
Keeping all that stuff.
You didn't smoke it?
No.
Oh, I really like it.
I can't smoke cigars and shoot video, man. That's too hard.
Shots
All right,
fired.
So Trip, tell me what you think, and I'll tell you.
I thought it was a really good Connecticut. I mean, it's hard to get a good read on it, but I smoked, I think, 2 or 3 of them during the week as like a first cigar of the day, and I was enjoying them. I'm really looking forward to trying that one on a fresh palate.
Okay. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, go ahead.
So here was my take on it. I mean, I definitely smoked several during the show, and don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic Connecticut. Like, it's very unlike, it kind of follows the trend, right? I mean, Drew Estate released the Underground Shade, and everyone's like, man, that's a good Connecticut. And then, people have been releasing better and better Connecticut's. I think this is one of the best ones that I've smoked. Like, it's almost, you put, like, if you were smoking it blind, you'd be like, is this a Connecticut? It doesn't, it is Connecticut-y, but it's not like, okay, oh my God, this is a Connecticut. But the thing I don't like about it is the price point.
Yes,
absolutely. And I get it. Dude, $13 to start off for a Connie, bro. All I got to say is Tiger Kitty Softball $7.50 all day long.
Yeah, so that's the thing for me is for a morning cigar, for some reason, I don't feel like I can smoke a $15 cigar first thing in the morning. I have no problem smoking like a $5, $8 cigar.
Illusion Rothschild, Connecticut, all day long.
See, that's a great $5 cigar.
What this country needs is a good $5 smoke. That's what they say.
Stealing brick houses, thunder.
Yeah, dude, that's what Ernesto Padilla says. You need a good $5 cigar, but instead he released a $48 cigar packed in 50 count cabs.
100 count, actually.
Oh, it's 100 count?
They're 100 count.
No, they're 50. They're 50.
No, it's 100 count. It's $5,000 for a box.
$5,000.
Yes. Yep.
What
gotta drop that nut.
Dude, like, that's more than a lot of retailers spend at the entire show.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least, like, small retailers, that's probably what they spend at the entire show for the entire year. Like, or not entire year, but the entire show. And even some of the bigger ones, dude. Like, that's a nut for one cigar.
Very successful.
No, absolutely not.
Davidoff sold 5 of those travel humidors with cigars.
Yeah. How much is that thing? $3,000 or something?
No, bro.
No, 145.
145.
145,000?
Yes.
Like 145.
145,000. Yes.
Yeah, it comes with, I believe it's 72 Oro Blancos.
Somebody bought 5 of them, or
not one person. They sold 5 of them at the show. In fact, that was like day 2, and they had already sold 5. So they might have sold more by the end of the week.
Holy crap!
Yep.
That's impressive.
And speaking of expensive cigars, John, what did you think of that Gurkha Master Select? I thought it was way better than I was expecting.
Okay, so I don't think I'm the target market for Gurkha. I've smoked some Gurkhas that I enjoy. I've smoked a lot of Gurkhas that aren't really my speed. Yeah. I was not anticipating that Master Select to be in my wheelhouse, and let me just say I was very surprised.
Yeah, I would buy that cigar again.
I was very surprised. I'm actually kind of excited to try some of the stuff that they had at the show, some of the stuff that they found boxes of. What was the I should know because I edited the hell out of the video, but I can't remember. What was the cigar they found that's only going to be available in Robusto? They only have 3,000 boxes.
I think it was like the 12-year age or something like that.
Yeah, it was one of the anniversaries. His 10th, I think it was the 10th anniversary. And anyways,
yeah, it might have been the 10th anniversary.
It's been sitting in a warehouse for 5 years, just sleeping, having a little nap.
And they just found them. It was like, oh.
It's like Logan style.
Like 3,000 boxes or whatever went. Yeah, like Logan style.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm excited to try Finda Los Mundos from Fred because
Finda Los Mundos.
You know I can't smoke enough of Fred's stuff. I love everything that Fred puts out. So
everything. Dude,
I don't think Fred's put out a single cigar that I have not enjoyed.
Are you?
I'm serious.
Crazy? Are you
I'm
crazy?
telling you, I am crazy. Loco.
First of all, let me just set the record straight because John's telling you lies, listeners. Is that probably C276 and beyond? He's been doing okay. C276 was okay. The 1386 was phenomenal. The whatever it is, 8613 was pretty good. you know, the SA-17. He's been getting progressively better. But all of the cigars before that, especially the first one, which is all Habano, I mean, literally that blend, no joke, is all Habano 2000, which Habano 2000 is kind of disgusting.
To be fair, I have not smoked the first cigar.
Okay, well then, dude,
That's what I'm saying. Everything that I've smoked from Fred, which is almost everything, I have thoroughly enjoyed.
Okay, well, his a first release before he was in, you know, House Amelia and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can disclose what factory it was made in because I know but I will say it's a very high-end factory. But dude, it's like
Dominican for you?
It's very Dominican-y, and it's honestly all that thing probably is. It's the same cigar that was released 5-6 years ago, and it's probably just like smoking copy paper. I said
so we've already established at the show. We've talked about this. Your Venn diagram of cigars is very thin,
very narrow.
Which is to say that everything you enjoy is an excellent cigar. There's no cigar that you enjoy that is not a bad cigar.
It is not a good cigar.
There's not. No.
Right. So I will agree.
There's nothing Logan loves that's a bad cigar.
Correct.
That's true. But there are times that I can, that I can take. I'd say my palate, if you're going to do it, like here's low. I mean, here's full bodied. Here's like no body. Like up until about medium body, like medium body to medium full, like I'm okay. But medium full to full, like that's my wheelhouse right there.
Yeah.
But I still like stuff in the medium to light or no body. Like, you know, I still like the stuff, but I mean, I'm telling you, like, I think more so is that when stuff is predominantly Dominican, that's using Dominican Corojo, gross, or Dominican freaking Habano 2000, gross, then it's just not good. And when you blend a cigar with one varietal of tobacco, you got problems. You're not going anywhere fast. Let me tell you that.
All right, moving along because we've got a time limit. Overall thoughts on the IPCPR as a whole. What would you change if you could change things? Trip, go.
I don't know if I would change much. I think it should open earlier or close later. Just because there's I mean, for us, there's not enough time in the day to get everybody interviewed. And having just an extra hour or an extra 2 hours would be like a godsend, because just having a little bit of extra time would, you know, allow us to get 5, 10, 20 more interviews in the week.
Logan?
I mean, I don't know. It's not anything that I would change anything. I would say one thing that would have been very helpful is that they've done this in previous shows, is that I don't think they included like a booth map. I mean, they had it in the app, but you couldn't really search it in the map, which sucked.
They could.
No, I tried it. You couldn't do it.
But there were brands that weren't even on the map.
There were brands that weren't on the map, but we actually found that app pretty useful.
Yeah, I had a hard time finding people, but honestly, there wouldn't be anything I'd change about the show. I mean, the only thing I would have wished that we would have done is last year it was nice having a little bit bigger crew, because we, you know, had more people to hang out with. But at the same time, I think productivity, and I got to give a shout out to Trippy Trip and John, just knocking it out. Best IPCPR coverage ever. Yeah, Half Wheel. You think you do video?
Half Wheel ain't got shit on us.
Hey, Half Wheel ain't got, Bernardo, you ain't got shit on our video.
I definitely damaged my kidneys and or bladder during the show. Let me just put it that way.
Probably true. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think the show was fine. I mean, the only thing I almost wish, and this was just kind of me, is that, and this is just a gripe on my part, is that I hated burning a whole week of vacation to go to the show. Yeah. I would rather them, you know, start it like, you know, on a Saturday, you fly in Friday after work or whatever. And so that way you get done like Tuesday. So that way you're burning a whole weekend or a whole week vacation.
That's what it normally is, and that's what it's going to return to next week or next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a lot of switching venue had a lot to do with that. But otherwise, I thought it was a good show. You know, I thought it was a good show. It seemed, compared to all, because the last literally like since New Orleans and beyond, I've heard nothing but, man, the show attendance is so crappy. No one's here. I felt like every booth that I went into, there was always someone in there.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it was busier. Like
there were a couple booths, but
Well, of course.
For the most part, booths were popping.
Yeah, booths were popping. I felt like the activity was really good. And like, this is the first year in probably 3 years when I went around and I always ask, like, how's it going? And, most people will lie to you and say, oh, yeah, it's going great. But you always get people to be like, man, I haven't sold shit. And like, I didn't get any of that this year. Everyone was like, yeah, it's going good. So I felt like maybe, I don't know if attendance was up or down, but I felt like people were writing orders, which is great.
Yeah, if attendance was down, it's probably for the best because the people that showed up were there to buy. They weren't there to kick tires.
Yeah, we heard that over and over and over was, that nobody, there was one person that said they had people coming into their booth that just wanted cigars and didn't want to buy anything. But everybody else said people who came in the booth wanted to buy.
Yep. All right. We're going to take another quick break for one of our show sponsors. Please stay tuned. Show brought to you by Drew Estate. Until June 30th, if you're a Drew Diplomat member, you attend a rewards program event and make a promotional purchase, you will receive a Liga Privada Velvet Rat. You'll also be entered to win a Drew Diplomat pewter ashtray, mega standing ashtray, or the Swag Closet Humidor, dubbed the Divorcinator. All these products were built and designed by Drew Estate Subculture Studios. If you're not a member, download the Drew Diplomat app from the Apple Store or Google Play Store today. I agree with Trippy, and I think I've said this is probably the fourth year I've said it. Starting the show after 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock or after 10 o'clock is just a stupid goddamn waste of my time. If I'm going to fly out to Las Vegas, I'm going to spend a week in Las Vegas covering the show. I better be on that floor at 9 o'clock. I don't give a shit what the excuse is. I don't give a shit the pack stuff. I want to be on the floor at 9 a.m. If I'm going to be there till 5, start at 9. The number of manufacturers that said, hey, bro, just come at 10 after 9. Hey, bro, just come at 9:30. Hey, bro, just come at 9:45. And it's like, I would love to come and interview at 9:30. But unfortunately, like other people that will remain nameless in the media market, we could not get on the floor and do an interview at 9:30. Much as I would love to, we could not. And like Trippy said, having even one extra hour and
huge difference.
Oh, dude, and fuck that whole 10:30 start on a Monday. In fact, if anything, the first day should start earlier and the last day should start later, not the other way around.
I would agree with that.
We absolutely could have banged out another 20 solid interviews, which would have included a lot of booths that probably should have been like Cornelius and Anthony, man, they were popping, and we couldn't get to them. Crux, we couldn't get to them. There was a number of booths that were on our list, and we could not get to them because we simply, with one-man crew, with the amount of time we have, we can't do it. We've maximized 65 videos is about the maximum performance that we can get out of the week. That's with, eating lunch in 15 minutes, taking one bathroom break a day. And I heard a lot of manufacturers say the same thing. They're like, well, how many times do we go by a booth? And we're like, how's it going? It's like, well, I'm fucking hungry. Because, I've been on the floor since 8:30. I haven't eaten breakfast. I haven't eaten lunch. I haven't had any water. So, it's not just hard on us. It's hard on the guys as well.
Yep.
And ladies. All right. Now we've done griping about the IPCPR.
Before we move on from like what we wish was in the IPCPR, so a lot of people have been talking about like the Consumer Day thing.
Yeah. I wish they did that.
There's one way that it could work, and I feel like nobody would be happy about it. That's the problem. The one way it could really work would be like a pack of 20 cigars or whatever, and you pay $200 to get in or something. And then the consumers can just kind of roam the floor and look around. But no matter what, there's going to be consumers that are trying to weasel cigars, and manufacturers sometimes won't want to give them out, and then people will be mad that they're not able to weasel a cigar from that guy.
That's true.
And everybody's exhausted by the end of the week, so it's not like
have
you
to
could
be
add
before.
another day.
It would have to be before.
June from Developing Palates actually had a really good suggestion, which I think bears some consideration. And he said that you should have a second convention in Vegas for consumers right around the same time, like not at the same time, but like the last 2 days of the convention or the first 2 days, however you want to work that out, so that consumers can show up in Vegas, go to a different convention center so they're not interfering with retailers. And then that maximizes the manufacturers, and frankly, it maximizes the retailers. You telling me retailers don't want to go and talk to their consumers at another convention show and talk turkey? Yeah. Like that's the time where you want to be showing these new cigars out.
And if they had a Consumer Day, there are companies that don't give out samples at all. What are those companies going to do during a consumer day? Just stand there and talk to people?
Well, they just
Tell
won't
them
show
I
up.
can't give you a cigar?
Yeah, they just won't show up.
Well, first off, like let me say this is that I disagree. Most retailers would be very mad about a consumer day because at the end of the day, right, if they spend $200, those are cigars that all the new shit that the consumers are not going to be buying from their shop.
Well, that's just stupid. That's just stupid.
Well, it's stupid. I agree, but that'll be the
that's
biggest
not
bitch.
forward thinking.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just telling you what they're going to say. And the other thing is that you'd have to have it in a different place because all the people are going to be all the consumers are going to be doing is trying to get on the show floor. That's all they're going to be doing.
You'd have to do it in another place for sure.
You have to do a different place, and the only way to make it work is that you can't make it mandatory or you can't make it voluntary because no manufacturer is going to show up. Like there'd be a few, right? Like there'd be a few, but like on the smaller guys where it's literally just warped, like it's kind of him. Do you know what I mean? And like or Nick, right? Like Nick's not going to go stand over there because he's literally busy from the time the show opens till it ends. So like you'd almost have to do something different. I'd rather them have literally like an East Coast, like a Midwest and an East Coast, East Coast, West Coast, and like a Midwest IPCPR consumer day where you just have the rep from the local place go and you do something kind of like IPCPR and
like
you
a big smoke kind of thing,
like a big smoke, right?
Yep.
But you do it like IPCPR and make it cooler, do other stuff. But I think that would be tight.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Most enjoyable food, most enjoyable event during the week, Trippy?
Hands down, Momofuku.
That was pretty legit.
And Claudio's food is a close second.
Claudio's food was like non-existent, other than when I went into the kitchen and made myself an extra plate.
We were pretty hangry that day.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I got to tell everyone because it was kind of funny. It's because they like set us down and they were trying to do this like Italian several course meal. So they came out with a salad and then they came out with something else and they came out with 2 meatballs.
All cooked by Claudio.
All cooked. I mean, it's very delicious. Don't get me wrong, Claudio. But then the food just kind of stopped. And I think, I don't know, Claudio got drunk or got busy, and then there was no other food. And I was like, they had noodles in there they never cooked. And so I literally went into the kitchen and just started making a plate and just hooked it up. Everyone else was hangry except for Logan.
I thought that that Indian joint that Mel took us to was pretty legit.
That was so
savage.
Good.
That was good.
That was Mel Shaw from M. Bombay. And, I figure, like, Mel obviously is going to know Indian food. But I was a little suspect of Indian food in Las Vegas because I'm like, bro, we have a lot of good Indian restaurants in Calgary. So, I've had a lot of legit Indian food. But I got to say that was a good meal. It definitely didn't take the 1 hour that the Den Mother had anticipated for dinner. Let me just say that.
No. Yeah, that it ended up going a little over our expectations. That restaurant's beer game could use a little work, though.
Oh,
well,
Mel
all they have is the Indian beer.
Yeah, well, they didn't have that.
None of it is cold.
None of it is cold. I thought Mel was gonna punt somebody out the front door because he was like, "We need beers. We want Indian beer. Get that shit out there." And they were like, It's not cold. We don't have it." And I thought Mel was gonna murder somebody.
You want me to tell you a little fun fact about India? Is that a place is traditional when they don't serve cold drinks because Indians, as a general rule, are suspicious of cold drinks because they associate cold with sickness. No, I'm not making this up. This is for real. So they associate cold drinks with like being cold and being sick. So they drink everything like room temperature. So when I go over to India, like I literally have to bring my own drink in. Like if I want something cold in most places we go eat at, and that's how you can tell how authentic they are. So the fact that this place had warm beer and like warm water shows you that how authentic it is because real Indians eat there.
All right, moving right along.
Fun fact.
Favorite interview of the show, Trip, go.
Favorite interview?
Easy.
I mean,
that should be easy.
Oof, easy. I mean, it's such a non-interview interview that it's just like hanging out and telling jokes with a buddy.
Awesome.
I thought JD was I'm glad we got JD this year because I know he was like unbelievably busy, and we got JD on the right time and the right day because we got 100% unfiltered JD, and it was just the moment that I turned the camera on, I was like, yeah, this shit's gonna be awesome, and it was.
I like my interview with Eric.
Yes, that was good. It's not good enough. I feel like it's not getting enough. I don't know if it's because we put out so many videos, but I feel like that video is not getting enough love. I think people need to go check out the Espinosa video. You know, check it out. It was good times. There's some quality shit in there.
Quite clever.
Quite clever.
Same but different.
Same but different. Coming down to the last few questions. Trippy, how'd you feel CigFed did in the coverage this year?
In the moment, I wasn't sure because I'd never done it before. But by the end of it, I could tell that we were doing pretty good. And now the feedback of it has been like pretty much all positive. So I feel like we kind of killed it.
Logan?
I would agree. Like I think it was, I mean, we've done more interviews in the past because we've had more, more crews and like that kind of stuff. I think what we hit was great and the coverage was solid. Wish we'd have had the videos up a little sooner, but I actually think it was good because people had videos and had stuff up before us, and frankly, it's kind of trashy because you couldn't hear, you couldn't see, and then after the show, we started actually rolling more stuff out, and I mean, the amount of interaction and views we're getting is like crazy. So, I mean, hats off to both of you guys I think it was probably the best year we've ever had.
I think so too. Trippy, what are your thoughts on the future of the IPCPR? Looking forward to 2018. What do you think the show's going to be like?
I don't know. Based on what some of the manufacturers said, it was great. Based on what other manufacturers said, they might not be going next year. I think at least the next couple years are still going to be pretty good. I think the real question is where it goes after like 2019, because I think that's when people are going to start dropping out and not showing up and stuff like that.
Logan?
I mean, it all is really good. I mean, I can't say who I spoke to, but I had some pretty good information around, what the FDA is doing and stuff like that. And I would say, assuming dates get pushed back or we get a little reprieve, I think things kind of stay status quo, right? Or maybe even get a little bigger. But if we don't see any movement in any of the regulations, I would say next year will be sparse, with the following year being a ghost town.
I would agree with that. I think if there's no change to the FDA stuff, really within the next 6 months, I would say that's your time limit. If nothing changes before December of 2017, I think you're going to see a substantial drop off both in manufacturers and retailers, and frankly, media coverage. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, "Why would I?" And we, like I said, we kind of got a little bit of a feel for that, which we were kind of expecting this year, where you go into a booth. You talk about the existing line. There's nothing new. There's not a lot to talk about. It's tough to get an engaging interview for the audience if there's nothing to talk about.
True.
Yeah. Trippy, your funniest story / interaction / memorable moment from the IPCPR?
Our cab driver.
Oh my God.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we had this cab driver. And we got
Ellie McFellface.
Yeah, and Logan was like on the phone with his wife, and the guy goes, and first the guy was like 70,
probably.
He reminded me of like Larry David or something.
No, Larry David's cool.
A nerdy Larry David. Let's call him that.
Okay.
And you were on the phone, and he said something like, "Here's the line of massage parlors," or something.
He's like, "Hey, you can go get over here, get a happy ending over here. They'll suck your dick over here," or whatever he said.
Yeah,
like my wife was like, "What
so
the
your wife
fuck?"
would hear it, and then we laughed at that, which was the beginning of
nervous, uncomfortable laughter.
Yeah, nervous, uncomfortable laughter, which he didn't get the cue, and he just goes into this kind of tirade for like 15 or 20 minutes while we were on our way to the convention hall of the dirtiest jokes I've ever heard. And like he was telling racist jokes, he was telling like gross sexual jokes, like trannies and stuff like that. And then he went into how he was trying.
The worst.
Oh, it was the worst. It was so bad. I wanted to like dive out of the car. He started telling us about his niece who had cerebral palsy and how he was trying to like, or maybe it was her dad was trying to get her laid. And
it was bad. No, his dad was trying to get her married. And he was like, "Screw getting her married. Let's get her laid." And I was like, "Oh, bro."
Only he kept calling it get her pounded.
Get her
trying to get his knees pounded. Oh, it was the worst. But funny in a retrospect.
In retrospect, kind
retrospective
of funny.
way.
Good story, but good night. It was awkward.
Yeah.
Logan, I'm happy we got another elevator story to tell because it seems like every year we go to the IPCPR, we have at least
God, I
one
don't know
elevator
what the
interaction.
hell happened there. You could tell it because I was so flabbergasted.
So every time we seem to go to the IPCPR, and we're not loud or boisterous in the elevator, we try to we try to be respectful of the people that are around us. And we were talking about I think we were talking about the heat, and we're cracking some funnies. And
We were talking about no, that was a different time than when we were talking about the rain. Never mind. We were
yeah, that's right. We were talking about we were talking about the rain, and I was saying
I was right.
And you were right. And I was saying I don't think my trick knee is going, so it doesn't really feel. And then you were talking about the barometric air pressure dropping, and just like in previous years, this older lady in the elevator, as she gets off, she turns around and she says, "Well, that's fucking stupid," and she said it so fast.
I think she said, "You guys are fucking stupid."
You guys are whatever it was.
Whatever. Something
She-
fucking
it was so
stupid.
something
fast,
fucking
but-
stupid, and then bolted out of the elevator. And Logan looks at me like, "Did she actually?" And I'm like, "Yes, she did. That's what I heard."
It was very weird.
It was
It
very
was
strange.
awkward, man. It was very awkward.
All right, as we
My favorite part, Logan proved that he was a super taster.
super taster, ST.
It was supposed to be the funniest part, Logan.
Well, let's just say my palate goes beyond just cigars into desserts as well.
You're a dessert super taster.
Except that was the most expensive piece of pie I've ever eaten.
That was a very expensive piece of pie.
Yeah.
It did not
But-
come with a happy ending, and it probably should have for that price.
It should have for that price.
All right. Wrapping up this episode of Cigar Chat, last question. It was thrown out there, the idea of having a media house, either a house that we all stay in as like one big group, which could be interesting, or one big sort of centralized hangout place where all the sort of core media group goes to sort of chill out after the show. Trippy?
I'm completely in support of this. Like having a house off the strip that's like Airbnb or something where us and a bunch of the other media folks stay, because I mean the media is, I was kind of surprised because the media is kind of a close-knit group. We all know each other, and we ended up almost every night we were hanging out with some media people. And I think that it would take a little bit of the, like, there were a couple times that it was like, all right, well, let's go over to the Circle Bar so we can see those media people. And we would be able to just say, let's go back to the house and hang out and then go to sleep. Because I think it would be kind of awesome to just have a place off the strip to hang out.
It would depend on what media people, right? Like, I'm not going to trash anyone, but like there was a core group of like, 2 or 3 media outlets that we hung out with. Like, Hewitt and stuff at Stogie Review, and there's some others. And it's not that I don't like the media people, but like there's a lot that would not participate. Like, there's no way half of it would come.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be something where it would be like us and like 2 or 3 other sites that would get together and do it. But like, there's no way you could have like a media booth at IPCPR where all media people were hanging out. We'd all kill each other.
Yeah, no, this would be more of a unofficial after hours kind of media hangout.
Yeah, I could see that working.
Cool.
Except the cab rides would suck.
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to get 2 or 3 lifts.
Right. That's
I
true.
I think the idea is that instead of hopping around to event after event after event, you've got a centralized location to come back to either at 6 or at 10, and then you just stay there, so you're not hopping around the strip all over the place. And I think
Which would be nice.
There's some value in that.
That would be nice.
I mean, like, think of the night we had where we had some of the media, we had like the developing palettes guys over.
Yep.
Like, just being able to hang out like that every night would be kind of awesome.
That would be cool.
Cool. All right. Well, we got a hard stop, so we're going to wrap up this episode of Cigar Chat. Thanks, everyone who tuned in, commented, dropped us a line, dropped us a comment, dropped us an emoticon. We'll be back next week at a regular scheduled time of 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to check out Sharing Our Pairings at the normal time on Wednesday. For all the new shit we're going to be pairing, we got something funky next week. You're not going to want to miss that. Check it out. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.